I'm going to just do this one for you so you can kind of see it, because then we're going to take a break. I know you guys are probably getting tired. So we have the sine of alpha plus beta. So the sine of alpha plus beta is sine alpha cos beta plus cos alpha sine beta. And I'm going to multiply that by sine alpha cos beta plus, minus cos alpha sine beta. Okay? So all I did is expand them using my sum and difference identity. Does everybody see what I mean? Okay, good. Now, can you see that this is just the difference of squares? Because this is the same as this, and this is the same as this. So yeah, good, Griffin. Yes, it's just the difference of squares. So that means I square the first one, so I get sine squared A cosine squared B, and then minus cosine squared A sine squared B, right? Okay, so now I have to make it equal to that one right there. So we're going to have to do a little work here, I think, don't we? Let's do this. Let's make cosine squared B equal 1 minus sine squared B. How's that? By using the Pythagorean identity. Has everybody got with me? Okay, so cosine squared A sine squared B. So now I'll distribute, and I get sine squared A minus sine squared A sine squared B minus cosine squared A sine squared B, right? All right. So now, what if I, put this with this and make this a plus? That works, right? Smader, if you have a question, raise your hand, and I will, I'll release the mute on you. Just raise your hand. Then I have sine squared A minus, and I'm going to factor out a sine squared B. And what I have left is sine squared A plus cosine squared A. Right? Does everybody see that? And then sine squared A plus cosine squared A equals 1. So that just disappears, and we end up with our identity. Okay? Does everybody see it? Okay, good. So it's just a matter of working through it little by little. Oh, no, Michael, what's the matter? Where did I lose you? Oh, I just factored out the negative. Because that would be a negative sine squared and a negative sine squared. I just didn't want to write another line because I was running out of space. So when I put the parentheses on, I factored out the negative. Does that make sense? If not, I'll take the extra step if you need me to. Okay, good. All right. So everybody's good here? Let me see. So we'll do one more of these type problems. We know that the sine of alpha is 4/5, and alpha is between pi over 2 and pi, and sine beta is minus 2 over the square root of 5, and beta is between pi and 3 pi over 2. So how do I find cosine of alpha? Let's see, who am I going to torture? I will... Richard, you there? Richard? Richard? All right. Michael T. All right, thanks, Michael. Okay, so any ideas how I find cosine alpha? Okay, so what do you do when you really have no idea what to do? What can you do when you don't have any idea what to do? Let's make a triangle. Okay, Michael. So here's my triangle. What can I do with this triangle? Any ideas? You tell me. Whichever way you want. I'm good. I mean, if I ask you what's cosine of alpha, you might want to start with that. You know what I mean? Do you have a microphone?
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's easier. So, if I'm asking for cosine of alpha, what do you think I'm going to use? How about everything that has to do with alpha? Given? What? Do you understand why I would use that?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it gives the values of the triangles of the color.
Right. This is the alpha triangle. So if I know the sine alpha is 4/5, how do I write that in?
Opposite, it would be 4.
Good.
And hypotenuse would be 5.
Perfect. You know what the other side is, just by the way?
3, 4, 5 triangle.
Yeah, 3, 4, 5 triangle. Good. And it says alpha is between pi over 2 and pi. What information does that give us?
It's in quadrant 2.
Good. So if it's in quadrant 2, what are the signs of my values?
It's going to be a -3.
Perfect. You got this. See? You know what I mean? Like, if you don't know where to start, just kind of start breaking the problem up. Because you know all the information. So now if I ask you what's the cosine of alpha, what's the cosine of alpha?
Cosine alpha would be
So, Vaughn, do you have a question or an answer?
Oh, I have a question. Wouldn't it be +3 though? Not negative?
Why?
Because isn't 25 minus 16 +9?
Yeah, but it's a 3, 4, 5 triangle, but the value, the positive and negative have to do with, I mean, -3 squared is 9 as well, right?
Right. Oh, okay.
It has to do with the quadrant it's in.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
Okay. Good question. Okay, Michael, we're back. So what was your question? I'm sorry. So what's the cosine of alpha? And I don't know if you answered me or not.
Cosine alpha.
What is the cosine equal to?
Okay. So controller. Yeah. Okay. Adjacent hypotenuse, so 4 over 5? No, negative 3 over 5.
Perfect. Negative 3 over 5. You got it. Good job. Did you understand everything you did?
Yeah.
Nice.
It took a little while to connect the dots, though.
Excuse me?
It took a little while to actually connect the dots, though.
I know. That's why I like to have you guys do it, because if I do everything, then usually you zone out. So, did you learn how to do it now?
Yeah.
Isn't that nice? In like a couple minutes, you don't have to worry about it anymore. That's why I call on you guys. Let me see. Anybody volunteering who hasn't done anything yet? I promise you'll learn how to do this if you volunteer. Just takes a little bravery, and then you'll get it. You got it? Okay, Kirsten, let's do it. So, how do I find cosine of beta? If you have a microphone, you can turn it on. Make a triangle. Here, Michael T, can you turn off your mic?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, so we'll make a triangle, and this will be my beta triangle, right? So now what do I do? The opposite is -2, okay? And the hypotenuse is square root of 5, all right? And then how do I find x? Okay, so the Pythagorean theorem says what? -2 squared plus x squared equals the square root of 5 squared. So x equals Kirtan? Good. So x equals 1. And then it says, is 1 positive or negative? Negative. Good, because it's in quadrant. Exactly. Is everybody with me? Anybody confused yet? I'll assume that yes is that you're with me. Not that you're confused. If you're confused, raise your hand. Okay. So now we want to know what is the cosine of beta. Yes, Savon.
So wouldn't it be negative root 1?
Say again?
For the beta triangle, wouldn't it be negative root 1?
Negative root 1? No, it's negative the square root of 1. Yeah, what's the square root of 1?
Oh. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, so now we have cosine alpha, cosine beta, and we also have sine alpha. It actually gave us sine alpha. Sine alpha is 4/5. And sine beta, they gave us, is -2 over the square root of 5. Right? So we have all our alphas and betas, and then, like, literally we could just plug it into the formula. Does everybody see that? Are there any questions here? Okay, let's move on. So these are just identities. Again, this identity, because it's something plus something, we have to use our formula. So this would be cosine pi over 2 cosine theta minus sine pi over 2 sine theta, right? What's the cosine of pi over 2? Yay, thanks, Luis. So this is 0. What's the sine of pi over 2? This is 1, so I get 0 minus the sine of theta, which equals the sine, minus the sine of theta. Okay? Easy enough?